Hey everybody, welcome to Versus, episode, who cares? I'm JWMaher, that's Will Cohen. We are still going through the dregs of the Jagged Edge catalog. And they managed to make two movies about dragons as well. You know, they left no stone unturned. But before we get into that, Will, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I wish there's a joke I want to make. I'm going to make it later, but you would think for a movie about fire, I would feel the heat on this, and I don't. I feel like I was eating like salsa made in like salsa made out of New York City. This is just bullshit.
Hey, don't knock New York City salsa. This is definitely this is Midwestern salsa at its finest. We're talking about Dragon Fury, the first one. I don't want to confuse anybody. There's more than one. The first Dragon Fury.
Thank you for coming, and apologies you've been kept somewhat in the dark. This area used to be a nuclear weapons facility. However, a consequence of this is that the whole area should be devoid of all wildlife.
But there have been sightings here.
If something has evolved to withstand radiation exposure, then it could be of great scientific interest to us.
A winged creature.
But it's your job to get out there and to bring it back.
It can't be obtained.
You know, the dramatic pause in that trailer is like 20 times better than this movie. And,
So,
go ahead.
John, imagine if they would have made shall we say, Muppets Take Manhattan, but there's only 5 minutes of Muppets. That is this film. That's the equivalent of this film.
Pretty much.
This film is called Dragon Fury. And even for a movie that's just a little over 90 minutes long, there's only maybe 5 total minutes of dragon shit. Like, if I wanted to see people complain about failed relationships or weird science, weird sciencey shit, Jurassic Park is right there.
Yeah.
Which is an intentionally good film. This is...
Even the trailer begs the question that so many other Jagged Edge films have fallen into the same trap. It's like you have Dinosaur Hotel and Dinosaur Prison and Pterodactyl and Pterodactyl 2 and like all these movies. It's like, yo, listen, these dinosaurs fly. And they're carnivorous creatures. How are they not like escaping into society? Like, how does society not know about it? Like, there's nothing keeping these creatures there. It's like there's been sightings. Like, okay, there should be.
Yeah, but again, John, that's putting more thought into this movie than the filmmakers put into this movie. This is something that every Jagged Edge film or ITN distributed film has a problem with. They just throw shit at the wall.
Yeah, like the cold open itself is like so crazy. It's like the cold open is just a guy and a lady, and they also know about this restricted radioactive area where like there's crazy shit going on. And the guy makes a point. He's like, "Turn off your cell phone."
Hey, turn that off now.
They can track us. Okay, if it really is that high security of an area, you drove a fucking car into it. Okay, like you drove a car into it. They know you're there.
Yeah. If they can track your cell phone, guess what? They can also fly a goddamn drone everywhere. They probably have cameras everywhere, and unless you're covering your license plate, they saw that shit.
Yeah.
So clearly, you don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
They go up and the dragon comes out and we get the best CGI fire. Oh my goodness, it is just chef's kiss. CGI fire. And the dragon looks like it's missing a chromosome. It's a weird looking dragon.
Yeah, there's definitely something that did not get added to the dragon batter there, John.
Yeah, that dragon ain't dragoning. It looks like maybe like a kid drew a picture of a dragon and they CGI'd the shit out of it.
I mean, maybe they assumed that they could call this movie Dragon because this film definitely was Dragon the entire time, and it was definitely causing me fury at such, to the point I just started droning out the dialogue. I didn't even bother turning on the subtitles. It's like maybe I'm just extra pissed at this. This is the one film I couldn't find on Tubi unless it was the Spanish version. So I actually had to fucking pay $2 to rent this piece.
Oh no, Will.
I am so
talk to me
furious.
first. It was free on Plex. You could have seen it on Plex.
Yeah, I can't stream it on my PlayStation through Plex as far as I'm aware.
Goddamn.
Yeah, and I didn't want it, like, my computer is upstairs. It's like, I just need to watch this stupid fucking movie. I'll just pay the $2. So this way I don't have
you win this round, Jagged Edge. You got $2. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the premise of this movie though is the government knows that there is something up. There are creatures being spotted there, to the point that they send a crack team of commandos, I guess, into this area, to the house that Tooth Fairy 4 was filmed at, to that house, which is a military installation in the Welsh mountains. And who do they send? A senior citizen, a cripple that walks with braces, and somebody with PTSD.
I'm Miss Lexi. Maybe I was told to let us home. What is your inside?
That three ladies in there with no real weaponry, just fatigues to capture a dragon.
John, I didn't realize that Charlie's Angels had a D team, but here they are. Like, the entire time, it's like, okay, they're in camouflage. There's no fucking forest. They're inside. Why are they still wearing camo, John? Why?
Yeah, it's all mountains. The camouflage is ineffective in the mountains. And it doesn't really matter. And the funny thing is, like, they know they find a giant egg, right? And like, oh, clearly it's some kind of giant bird-like creature. The one thing you wouldn't do, because they're marveling over the size of the egg, right? Well, if the egg is that big, the creature's got to be gigantic. Why would you fucking steal the egg?
It is an egg. It's huge.
I mean, again, like I understand that Alfred Hitchcock was very famous for saying that the characters don't call the cops because that is boring. And I understand that everyone has, that has taken that to heart and said, okay, well, we have to make our characters do things to further the plot. I understand this. But do they have to be this stupid of decisions. They don't. They really don't.
And then also we get there, and for some reason there's a guy who's a general there, I guess, right? General Marshall's the dude who's there, and then Chrissy One is there for some reason again, because I guess they had her for the whole weekend, so she was there, and they're perfectly capable of doing this shit too, because it's a fucking dragon. Like, it's so weird. Like they clearly know what they're up against, but they don't match the effort to the challenge. You know, like there should have been a team of real commandos with real weapons going after this thing if they're going to capture it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, again, this is assigning better thought, more deeper thought, I should say, than they clearly put into this. Because, as you put it, for this crack team of like military trained people, none of them have an AR-15. None of them have like access to like RPGs. Like,
they bring no weaponry. But I mixed everything up. At the end of we could just skip right to the end. At the end of the movie, it's revealed that General Marshall's the guy that shows up at the end, and he reveals like that the military knew there was a dragon there, and they've trained the dragon, and they trained the dragon with like a whistle to attack people.
A new military weapon, capable of killing from any distance.
You made that thing?
Yes.
Right? And then he like sicks the dragon on the remaining people. But then the head lady, she has her own whistle, and she blows the whistle, and the dragon attacks the bad guy. That makes zero fucking sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Did someone like fall asleep while watching How to Train Your Dragon and thought, hey, here's an idea? Like, really?
Also, like, the egg hatches organically outside of its nest, and
with no incubator. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just blood everywhere. That's not how hatching eggs work. There's like when birds come out of eggs, there isn't fucking blood everywhere. Like that's not how.
I mean, they're wet, but it's not blood. Yeah, it's like amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much to hate about this movie. But I said I would say a positive thing. Like, it's not like confusing. Like, the movie's not confusing. It's just wrong. So I give it a point for that. Like, I wasn't confused watching this movie. I was like, this is just stupid. So it's refreshing that something is stupid in a non-confusing way.
I mean, you're right. At least this was straightforward enough to understand like some of the characters' desires, but at some point, like, I always find myself at some point just not caring. And the point that I got to this not caring fell so quickly. I believe, if memory serves, it fell between the 15 and 20 minute mark of a 90-minute film. It's like, okay, I just can't care about these characters. They're insipid. The acting is somehow worse.
Yeah, they're all flipping out, and the older woman's like, "It's our last job. After this, I'm gonna be done, and you can do whatever you want."
Yeah, the Helen Mirren stunt double somehow like has the best acting, and that's even saying something. This is just fucking. And obviously, Christy Wan, like, apparently $50 and below goes a long way. Yeah. Like, I've never understood this.
Let's just rate it. What do you got, Will?
I guess the film didn't offend me necessarily. So I guess I'll give it 1.5, just because, again, this film didn't it doesn't piss me off. But when I get when it's so egregious with everything going on that like there's hardly any dragons within the first 30 minutes. The acting is atrocious. The characters are just stupid for all the wrong reasons. There's no entertainment value. I checked out so early of this movie. So it almost got the one just for wasting my time and in this case money. But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm like, we grade on kind of like a different curve. Like I'm right around the same area as you, but that's a 1 for me. Just like I would give movies that are like just absolute waste of time, that are incoherent, like a half videotape, but 1 videotape, because like while this movie is, like I said, dumb, has no real redeeming value with regards to like creativity or like technical superiority. It knows what it is. I think at some level this movie knows what it is, which is refreshing for a Jagged Edge movie. So if you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. We're recommending you don't watch this video, but if you do watch this video, there's also a drink in the description and a drinking game so that you don't entirely waste your time like we did. Next week, we'll be covering, there's another Dragon Fury movie. I think it's called Dragon Fury Wrath of Fire. I imagine there is more bad CGI fire and more bad dragons, and maybe it'll explain why they don't just fucking leave the mountain.
And the good news is this one is actually on Tubi, so I don't have to waste my money.
All right.
And neither do you.
And until next week, I'm JWMaher. That's Will Cohen. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Go to the Facebook group Why We Love Horror. All the information's there. And for the time being, we're doing this on Mondays. Why We Love Horror on Thursdays. Why We Love Horror Trivia on Fridays. Everything else mixed in. Some random stuff dropping here and there. We appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time Versus comes around.